your shoulders relax, facial muscles, jaw. And be aware of your sitting bones, pubic bone and tailbone sinking down towards the earth. And particularly as you now inhale, feel the crown of your head elevating upwards towards the rafters. As you continue to just focus now on breathing a little deeper, more mindfully, begin to notice those subtle changes, transformations, shifts in how you feel. Just by breathing that little bit more slowly, that little bit more consciously, notice your mind becoming quieter, your nervous systems calmer. Just take a reading this morning of how you're feeling, scanning your body for any physical aches and pains, injuries or ailments. Ask yourself how you're feeling energetically, how you're feeling mentally, how you're feeling spiritually, emotionally. In other words, an enhanced understanding of exactly where you're at right now at this moment in time. And set any positive intention for today's practice, any affirmation, your own personal I am statement. Just be I am calm, I am peaceful, I am happy, I am strong. Whatever you want to affirm now, just silently frame those words in simple language in your mind. And then just lower your chin as you next exhale towards the center of your collarbones. Let the weight of your head simply traction the back of your neck, your upper traps. Roll your chin as you next breathe in. Look over your right shoulder and glance down towards your right hip. Roll your chin back to the center of your collarbones, exhaling slowly and smoothly. Take your face to the left and look over your left shoulder. Exhale in transition, take your chin to the right and look over your right shoulder again. Just do that a few more times, just gently easing out the upper back and the neck. Rolling your chin from collarbone to collarbone, shoulder to shoulder. And just letting the weight of your head facilitate the stretch rather than forcing your head to incline. Now just come back to the midline, having worked evenly to both sides. Let your chin rest at the collarbones. Let your hands now cradle the back of your head and your thumbs frame your neck. As you exhale, try to squeeze the elbows together and cave your belly. And as you inhale, lean into your palms and wing out the elbows of both arms, opening up your chest. Exhale again, cave the belly, dome the back, elbows meet. Inhale as you come into your seated dogtail, your back bend, your heart opener. Another one the same, exhaling again. And inhale, only this time just coming upright. And just keep your left hand where it is and walk your right hand away. And as your right hand creeps away, just soften the elbow to the floor and wing the left elbow upwards towards the ceiling. Now really root down quite heavily through your left sitting bone. Keep leaning into your palm and now exhale and take the elbow of your left arm to find the crease of the elbow of your right. Inhale, lean into your palm. Exhaling, twist. Inhale, exhaling, and inhaling. Now pause where you are and deepen that side stretch as you release your left hand up and overhead. Keep drawing the elbow towards the ceiling and just drop in on gravity for a few deep breaths. Circle your left hand and begin to bring a little bit of motion to your wrist. Have a go at involving the fingers, wriggling your fingers and thumb. Orchestrate the hand in one direction, then begin to rotate it back the opposite one. Finding yourself coming back to stillness again with regards to that left hand, just look up and try to draw the front of your body towards the ceiling. Exhale and draw your left elbow tip towards your left shoulder blade. Inhale, reach up and overhead. Exhale again, twist, elbow to shoulder blade. Lift your gaze through heart and eyes. Inhale, reach up and overhead. Exhaling and inhaling. Exhale and inhale. As you exhale, trail the floor with your left fingertips. Just make a theatrical bow. Inhale, paint a rainbow across the ceiling. Just do that a few more times. Just now really opening up the shoulder, bowing humbly towards the ground, reaching up triumphantly towards the sky. And once you practice one more of these, just meet me in that side stretch, dropping into gravity and heavily weighting your left sitting bone. From here, slowly rise up, position your left hand behind you, fingertips pointing to the right, and place your right hand to the side of your left thigh. Keep looking forwards to begin. Take a deep breath in and feel as if you're being pulled up by the crown of your head. As you exhale, squeeze the flesh around your waistline, draw your belly to your spine, and gradually begin to work your way up through the thoracic vertebrae, deepening that twist, eventually climbing up to the neck. Imagine energy spiraling up the spine, and eventually you're glancing into the left-hand corners of both eyes, into the distance behind you. From here, slowly unwind and bring your left arm on top of your right arm, binding your arms in an eagle bind. Prise your shoulder blades apart, lift your neck out of the shoulder girdle, and shrug your shoulders consciously away from your ears. Raise your forearms, take a deep breath in, and as you lift your forearms up and overhead, revealing the whole of your front body from your chin to your pubic bone. Keep all of that space between your chin and pubic bone as you exhale and lean forwards into space, and maybe, just maybe, bring your forearms to the ground. Wherever you've wound up, keep your feet actively switched on, your sitting bones grounded, and keep listening to your breath as you deliver your breath all the way down into your belly, into your hips. Balloon the breath into the back body. Soften the shoulders, melt the shoulder blades apart. Finding your way up on the in-breath, rise up again. And then taking the arms over to your right, eyes to the left, and then just incline your head once more and peer down over your left shoulder blade in the direction of your left hip. Try to bring a stretch into this left shoulder, but also as you incline your head, see if you can notice that stretch into the right side of your neck and traps. Listen to your breath, just be fully present, fully conscious, fully aware of whatever feelings, sensations come and go. Come back to the center line, unraveling your arms from their bind, and then just bring your hands behind you. Try to get your thumb tips to touch, press down the palms of your hands, squeeze together your triceps, your shoulder blades, and your elbow points. You can stay there, sitting bones grounded. You can take on a little bit more weight bearing through the arms by lifting your seat off the floor and trying to rise up onto your shin bones. Really push down through your hands, roots of your fingers, pads of your thumbs. And as you slowly release your seat, exhaling, and take the weight bearing off of your hands, change the cross of your legs so you've got the opposite shin now cross to the front. Place your right hand on the back of your head. So let's repeat that little sequence on the second side, creeping the fingertips away, exhaling and softening the elbow towards the ground. And it doesn't matter if it doesn't get there, but try to just keep that sense of grounding through your right seat, breathing by the armpit to the right hip. Now exhale and try bringing your right elbow in the direction of the crease of your left. Inhale, lean against your palm as you elevate the elbow. Exhale, twist. Inhaling. Exhaling. And inhaling. Exhale. And inhale. Last one like that. Exhaling. And inhale. Once again, release the head and float the right arm up and overhead. Once again, begin to oil the right wrist now by circling your hand and wriggling, if you can, the fingers and the thumb. Keep breathing deeply. Keep dropping in on gravity. Feel that sense of rooting down through both sitting bones. Maintain that firm base between you and the earth. Once you've circled one way, just repeat the activity in the opposite direction. And then pause, and as you slowly now exhale, draw your right elbow point towards your right shoulder blade and look up through heart and eyes. Inhale, reach up and overhead again, and stretch out the side waist, the side ribs. Exhaling, and inhale, up and over. Exhale, and inhale. Another one the same, exhaling again, and inhale. Now that theatrical bow, exhale, reach forwards. Inhale, straight the ceiling. Exhaling, and inhale. Keep going for 1 or 2 more rounds. Good. And then just come back to that side stretch and revisit one more time, dropping in on gravity once more. And then slowly transition your right hand behind you, turn the fingertips to left hand to right thigh, look forwards to begin, and imagine the hair follicles attached to the crown of your head being drawn upwards towards the heavens. And as you find that extra uplift through the spine as you breathe in, as you exhale, feel that tightening of that belt around your waistline as that corset of flesh and those deep muscles within the belly begin to kick in. Slowly work your way into that seated twist again. Taking your time to climb up the spinal staircase until you arrive at the neck, of course. When that moment comes, just looking into the corners of both eyes, just keep twisting, keep lengthening up through the spine. Transition, let your face lead, and then let your right arm follow as you rebind your arms in the eagle bind. Take your forearms forwards and consciously traction the shoulder blades apart, the muscles of your upper back and your shoulders, they stay melting away from your ears. With the next in-breath, when it rises, just slowly bring your forearms up towards the ceiling. Take a deep exhalation when you're ready, and keeping the feet in flexion to protect the ankles and the knees and, of course, the hips. Slowly fold into your forward bend, bowing your head again, trying to just let everything just drop down into the ground. Mental clutter, anxiety, negativity, physical tension, just let it all sink down into the earth. And then when you're ready, using the in-breath to bring you back up and taking the forearms to the left and the eyes to the right, just let your shoulders relax. Let your head be heavy. Just find that stretch. Maybe incline your head a little to bring a bit more of a stretch into the left side of your neck and upper traps. Listen to your breath echoing in the chamber of your throat. And then slowly unwind and bring your hands back behind you and squeeze together your elbows. Try to get your thumb tips to touch or be as close together as possible. Either stay seated, if you want a little bit more weight bearing, a little bit more strengthening for the wrists, for the arms, and that feels available to you. Just lift yourself up. Really strong arms, lift your heart, lift your hips, balloon the front body with breath as you breathe in, empty to the bottom as you breathe out. And then when you're ready, slowly reset your sitting bones on the floor and just bring yourself from sitting cross-legged to all fours. And once you are on all fours, just take your time just to set up that shape with a nice long spine and your belly drawn towards it, back of your neck, back of your head, in line with the rest of your spine. And then keep your right hand and your left knee grounded as you float your left arm, or space, left arm forwards and your right leg back. And hold that position with your navel absolutely stationary. Push firmly into those points of contact between you and the mat. Keep a little softness in the elbow of your supporting right arm. From there, slowly lower your left hand, step your right foot so that it's parallel with the back of your mat and take a side plank with your knee beneath your hip, stacking your shoulders, reaching up with your fingertips. And then just reach up and overhead. And again, take a nice deep side stretch through the right side of your body. Send lightning bolts through your fingertips and really ground your right foot, particularly the little toe side. Imagine the muscles of your right leg hugging the bones and rising up to your right hip. And then if you want a little play today, just lift your right leg parallel to the floor, keeping your foot in flexion, stamping your footprint on the wall behind. And if you want to go one stage more and have another little play, bend your knee, grasp your foot or ankle with your right hand, and keeping the foot again in flexion, continue to breathe steadily as you externally rotate the thigh bone into the hip, and try to turn your navel, heart, hip, thigh, and face towards the sky. So it becomes a little bit of a back bend as you work with your balance there. As you come out of it, just come out via the route you came, stand your footprint on the back wall again, take your right arm up and overhead, and then let your right hand make its way down to the ground. Pivot on your supporting left knee and place your right foot up between your hands in a runner's lunge. You might need to pad out your back knee, and you might need to slide the knee back a bit so you're more on the thigh than the kneecap. Once you've figured out what's most suitable for your body, take a deep breath in and raise your hands up to your thigh and just heavily weight your tail. Find yourself once again lifting your crown, lifting your gaze higher than your eye line. Shoulders relaxed. Once you feel balanced there, just keep the heavily weighted tail and raise your arms as you inhale upwards towards the sky. Bend your elbows and gather into the palms of your hands the elbow points. Try to gently coax the forearms up and beyond your crown. And continue to breathe slowly and steadily as you pull on your left elbow with your right palm. Peer down towards your hip by the armpit. And again, take a side stretch. Pulling on the arm, stretching out the side ribs and the waist. Stretching out your left tricep, your armpit. Keep holding onto the elbow points as you inhale and raise the arms back up again. And then exhale, release your hands from the elbows and pop your hands onto the floor. And as you come onto your fingertips, you might find it's useful to put a couple of books or blocks underneath your hands to give you more support if being on your fingertips is not enough. And once you've taken those props and placed them either side of your right leg, just flex the foot and stake the heel firmly to the floor. And imagine trying to drag your heel back along the surface of your mat while looking forwards through heart and eyes beyond your toes. Take some deep breaths into that shape and just try to find yourself moving your heart closer to your toes closer to your shin. Now moving into a twist, you might want to take your left hand slightly closer towards you and then just turn towards the inner right thigh as you reach up with your right hand to the sky. Fan out the fingers, dome your palm. Try to stretch out the roots of your fingers and thumbs. Barrel your chest, turn your face towards the sky. Keep breathing into that twist and try to draw back your right hip, the thigh bone into the hip socket. Now let your right hand just perform a slow motion cartwheel forwards and see if you can just grab hold this time of your foot to bring a little bit more of a stretch into your hamstring, into your Achilles tendon. And as you continue to just gently pull on the foot, imagine your heart once again moving forwards beyond your heel, beyond your toes. Release your hand from your right foot. Pop your right hand on the inside seam of your right ankle, your right calf. Slowly, as you breathe in, ride that breath to bring your knee back over your heel and ground your foot. Keep your hands on the floor. They could be on bricks if you need more support, or on books. But let your little toe side of your right foot just drop out to the side as you just open up the hip. Look forwards through your heart and eyes and consciously draw your shoulders away from your ears. Breathe into the pocket of the right hip. Keep the right foot flexed as you roll over onto its side. From there, slowly roll the foot back onto the mat. Bring your right knee back beneath your right hip. And then slightly separate the knees and just take a wide leg variation in child's pose. Let your heart, let your brow, let your face just come to the floor if it's possible, bringing yourself right down towards the ground, the front of your body melting towards the thighs. If that feels a bit of an ask, you can always make a little stack of pillows with hands or place a book underneath your brow. Breathe balloon-like breaths into your body, belly, side ribs, waist, and keep sitting bones reaching for heels. Allow yourself a little bit of time just to, again, take a reading of how you're feeling. Make sure that what you've done so far through your practice this morning is doing you some good and you're not putting your body under any unnecessary strain. Now find your way to come back up again, and as I change directions, just bring yourself back to all fours with knees beneath the hips and wrists beneath the shoulders. Again, just find your balance as you take your right arm forwards and your left leg back this time. And again, I'm struggling for space, but just reaching forwards with your crown, back with your tail, internally rotating the left thigh, and find your balance again. As you breathe into that shape. For a few more rounds of your breath, just try to lift the front body to the back and press away firmly into the mat with your left hand, with a little bend in the left elbow. From there, slowly lower the right foot, right hand, and come into your side plank with the little toe side of your left foot running parallel with the back end of your mat. Stack your shoulders, stack your hips, fan out your left fingertips, and then reach up and overhead, doming the side body towards the sky. Breathe steadily and look up past your armpit towards the ceiling. Find stillness again, and if you went further before, lift your left foot now off the floor and stamp the impression of your footprint on the wall behind, keeping the foot flexed. Keeping your navel still and focusing on breathing steadily, maintaining your balance and bending your knee. If you did this before, then do it on this side. Bringing the foot into the hand, flexing the foot, and beginning to steer the attention of your navel, heart, and eyes towards the ceiling, whilst subtly externally rotating the left thigh. Now slowly from here, stand your left foot on the wall behind, take your left arm up and overhead, and again, revisit your balance. And this time, as your left hand cartwheels forwards and down, and you come with your wrists beneath your shoulders, stride your left foot between your palms, and maybe slide the right knee back a bit and pad it out. Coming into your kneeling runner's lunge. Now that you're there, just bring yourself up to stabilize, bring your hands to your thigh and heavily weight your tail. Let the hips travel forwards, the shoulders continue to melt. Keep breathing steadily as you lift your gaze higher and higher up the wall ahead. Once that feels okay, raise your arms again with a deep breath in. Take hold of the elbow points and draw the forearms back past your crown. Let your shoulders soften and your armpits melt into them. And then slowly begin to lean over to the left, pulling on your right elbow. Breathing into the side body. Breathing into the ribs and the waist, trying to maintain your balance and keeping your mind in a really quiet place. Listening to your breath, glancing down past your hip towards the earth. Back to the center, take a deep breath in. Release your hands from the elbows and rainbow your hands down to the ground, shoulder width. Once your hands are either on books, on blocks, or they're happy to support you with just being on the floor with your fingertips, then flex the left foot and look forwards and ahead and try to draw the toes towards your shin. Cave your belly. Imagine dragging your heel along the surface of the mat. Moving towards your twist, elevate your left hand and reach up with your fingertips. Try to coax the thigh bone back into the hip a bit more and draw your left hip towards the wall behind, whilst barreling your chest and your face towards the ceiling. Spread the fingers, stretch out your hand. Now just let the left hand continue its journey forwards and down. See if you can grasp the front of your foot, if you can, and then just gently encourage a deeper stretch into the hamstring, but not locking the knee and not forcing or imposing your will on this shape. Keep looking forwards and ahead. Imagine your crown reaching forwards, your tailbone being drawn back. Taking your hand from the foot and popping it on the inside seam of the left ankle, rebend your left knee. Maybe bring your palms flat to the floor and see how you get on, just sliding the back knee a little bit further back and rolling over onto the little toe side of your left foot as you just breathe into the pocket of your hip. Look forwards and ahead, try to keep that sense of really supporting yourself through those points of contact with the mat and rebound energy lifting you away from the ground rather than collapsing down towards it. From that hip opener, that strengthening of the arms, that opening of the front body, slowly roll your left foot back to the mat. Pick up your back knee, keep your toes tucked under, and then rebound your right foot, your back foot, up to alongside the little finger of your right hand, your knees bent as generously as you need them to be. With your feet relatively wide apart, slowly begin to let your head hang down towards the earth and let your heart peer between your thighs. And as you come into that shape and ground through your feet, your buttocks start to rise. Just keep your knees bent if you need them to be, or slowly straighten the legs without locking the knees. Gently shift the weight backwards and forwards through the soles of your feet. Be aware of your feet grounding you to the earth as you spread your toes. And then find yourself, as you stop rocking through the feet forwards and back, finding stillness and imagining sending long, deep roots down into the ground. Let your head remain heavy, your breath remain steady, quieting down the activities within the brain and stretching out your hands, tractioning the muscles that swallow your spine. Keeping the knees bent and the feet plugged into the floor, slowly now, belly drawn to spine, begin to stack the vertebrae one bone at a time as you rise. Find yourself just coming all the way up, shoulders above hips. And as you find yourself coming to mountain pose, just go with a few slow, mindful shoulder rolls. Rising the shoulders up around your ears as you take a deep breath in. Melting your shoulder blades down into your back rib cage as you take a slow breath out. Roll one way. Take your time then to roll back in the opposite direction. Standing once again back in the stillness of a mountain pose, step your feet closer together and externally rotate the arms, turning the palms to face the wall ahead. A neutral pelvis, a heavy tail, send a little bit of energy down the arms to the tips of your fingers and thumbs. Imagine the crown of your head, tips of both ears being lifted upwards by 3 long threads to the heavens. Find yourself now at your full height, and as you inhale, set your fingertips in a great big circle around the room that you're in and bring your hands to prayer. A little bit more side stretching as you slide your left fingertips down the inside seam of your right forearm. And then inhale, gather your hands back to prayer above your crown, just like a reed blowing in the breeze, just sway from side to side a few times. Again, just opening up the side body, creating a little bit more flexion for your spine. When you're ready, just having worked evenly to both sides, just come back to the midline. With hands in prayer, steeple your hands above your crown and just begin to lean back a little bit more without compressing into the lower back, just keeping that feeling of lifting and lengthening, opening up the front body, buttocks switched on, feet grounded. As you exhale, with your hands still in prayer, hinge from the hips and cave the belly as you fold and revisit your forward bend. Either bringing your hands to your shins or resting them on the floor or toes. Now inhale, lift halfway, looking forwards along the bridge of your nose. As you exhale, step your left foot back, take a long lunge, turning the back heel in to about 45 degrees, bending your front knee. Take your fingertips forwards on your upward journey to warrior one as you inhale. And as you exhale, cave the belly, bow the head, and take your fingertips past your hips, framing your torso with your arms. Inhale, all rise. And exhale, humbly bow down. Inhaling. And exhaling. As you all rise, taking a deep breath in, raise your arms to frame your ears, and then begin to simultaneously straighten your front leg And interlace your fingers somewhere near your tailbone. Bucket together the shoulder blade, send your knuckles towards your left heel, and stretch out across the front of your chest. Keep the back of your neck long as you imperiously gaze upwards past the bridge of your nose towards the heavens. Imagine beneath your feet you're trying to rip the yoga mat into two. As your right foot pushes forwards and your left foot continues to draw back, slowly hinging at the hip crease, making sure that as you pause partway, your hips are still aligned. Bring yourself into a sort of ironing board shape, belly drawn to spine. Keep looking forwards and ahead as those knuckles potentially rise, and find yourself coming into another variation of pyramid pose. Soften the elbows round the arms. Imagine pulling your fingers apart from their bind. Try not to bow your head, but keep the back of your neck in line with the rest of your spine. Slowly lower your knuckles to your tail as you exhale. Either bring your hands once again poised on the fingertips if you can reach, or using books or blocks underneath your hands to give you more support, more height. Pause there and just revisit that forward bend for a few more rounds of your breath. Try to square the hips and draw the right hip back, slightly rolling the left hip forwards. And then heading into your twist, keeping your left hand on the ground, reaching up high with your right hand to the sky. Try to bring your torso now once more parallel to the floor. Coax back the right hip, lengthen through the side ribs and waist. Barrel your navel, heart and eyes to the sky. Breathe into what's there, long deep breaths. On the exhale, slowly release your right hand back to the mat and come back into your forward bend for a few more rounds of your breath. Just again, focusing on breathing slowly and steadily with smooth transitions between one breath and the next. Slowly from there, introduce a bend into the right knee again. Release your hands and slowly drive them forwards and up to frame your ears once more, coming back into your warrior. And then let your fingertips take a leisurely cruise as you breathe out, all the way down the wall behind. Bring your hands to the mat in front of your foot and bring them to shoulder width. Slide your right leg through and send your right foot high to the sky. Split your dog. Now bend your right knee like a dog having a pee against a tree and peer out to the right underneath your armpit. Try to draw that knee upwards towards the sky whilst squishing your heel down towards the ground. From here, you're heading into pigeon. Take your right knee to the outside edge of your right wrist. Try to square your shin to the front of your mat. If you struggle with that, have your heel more towards your hip and your shin at more of an angle. Slide your left leg back, press down the top of your foot, walk back onto your fingertips and shrug your shoulders away from your ears as you balloon your belly, fill your chest with breath. Lift your gaze and again, softly peering upwards towards the heavens. Breathe into whatever feelings and sensations are there. Try to keep the right foot in flexion, really press down the little toe side of the right foot, the outer ankle. Feel yourself just rising up a little higher, ballooning your belly, bloating it upwards, filling up the heart space. Now slowly release, keeping your hips aligned and symmetrically grounding towards the earth. Come onto your elbows, your forearms. Just pause there and check in. Make sure that your knee's not wedged onto your chest. Your hips aren't screaming for mercy. If that all feels okay, maybe just make a little pile of hands again as a pillow for your brow as your heart and your face, your head, bow humbly deeper down towards the ground. If you feel that you could go further than that, then just listen to your own body and take your own cue. Maybe taking your arms out in front of you, or maybe spreading your wings and bringing one side of your face to the mat. Just drop in on gravity, close your eyes and just focus on breathing slowly and steadily in and out through the nose. Feel the pull of gravity sinking you down, drawing you into the ground. Feel the breath as it ebbs and flows. And just direct the breath wherever you need it to be. As you continue to meditate on the physical feelings within your body, the sensations associated with breathing in and breathing out, slowly let your hands come back underneath your armpits, your shoulders, tuck your chin into your collarbones and curl your way back up through the spine to come back into your king pigeon. Tuck under the toes of your back foot and step back through plank and brace. And once you're in plank, just see if you can hold that shape. Again, bringing a little bit more heat, weight bearing, stamina, tenacity, determination to just come to the plank challenge without effort or strain. Try to squeeze the frontal hips together. Lift your heart between the shoulder blades. Keep micro bends in your elbows. As you exhale, come into down facing dog, separating the feet to hip width and heavily letting your head hang between both arms. Breathe into that shape again and spread your fingers. Spread the load forwards to the pads of your fingers. Breathe into the feelings and sensations that are here for you in down facing dog. See if you can accentuate that lifting of the axis of your hips, that scooping of the belly up into the rib cage. Soften the muscles of your face. Picking up your left foot, raising it up the wall ahead, and then bending the left knee. Position your left foot between your hands. Turn your back foot to about 45 degrees. Make sure your hips feel aligned. With both feet supporting you, slowly rise with your fingertips making the forwards and upwards journey into Warrior One. Drop a little bit deeper, square the hips, and breathe steadily. As you exhale, fold, let your arms frame your torso as your fingertips frame your hips. As you inhale, rise, revisit your warrior, your high lunge. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, high. Keep going with that for a few more rounds, just flowing softly on your breath, placing your body precisely where you want it to be. Once you practice one more of these slow movements, bring yourself all the way up, raising your arms to frame your ears again, squaring your hips. Bring your hands back behind you and introduce the interlace to your fingers with the opposite forefinger now threaded in front. Straighten your front leg without locking the knee and send the knuckles of your hands down towards your back heel as you open your chest. Keep your feet grounded, try not to grip with the toes. And after another breath here in your heart opener, slowly exhale and move into your forward bend. Pause part way, maybe to reposition the angle of your back foot, the position of your front hip, bringing them more symmetrically aligned. Lifting the knuckles, folding deeper when you're ready, and softening, rounding the arms. Breathing into that pyramid shape without effort, without strain again. Just focus on the feelings and sensations that are there. Gently nudging away at any rough edges, any areas of resistance. Creating space where you feel congested. Releasing the knuckles from the tail back down to the ground. Take a moment or two to pause with your hands either poised like little wigwams or on your blocks or books again to help with the support you need to maybe deepen that pose with a little bit more stability. And maintaining that stable base, keep your right hand on the ground and raise your left hand as you take your twist. Try to draw once again, the torso so it's parallel to the floor. Draw the left thigh bone back into the hip socket and draw the left hip back a bit. Spread your fingers. Spread from the center of your palm to the tips of your fingers and thumbs. Revisit your forward bend, exhaling again, and seeing if you can, after that twist, just deepen it a little bit more. Keep looking forwards and ahead of your toes, maintaining the alignment of your neck in relation to the rest of your spine. Very slowly rebend the front knee and travel your hands forwards and upwards towards the sky as you breathe in. Revisiting a triumphant warrior one after that twist and forward bend before slithering your fingers all the way down the wall behind you. Bring your hands back to shoulder width, and as you bow down and ground the hands, slide the left leg up towards the sky and split your dog. Keep the right heel within the frame of the hip as you draw the heel closer to the floor. Bend the left knee, and again, try to externally rotate the thigh. Let your head hang heavy as you peer out curiously underneath your left armpit. Maintain your balance for another couple of breaths there, opening up the hip in preparation for pigeon. When you're ready to go into pigeon, shift the weight bearing forwards through the wrists. Take the left knee to the outside edge of your mat, the little finger side of your left hand. Slide your right leg back, make sure the foot's in line with the ankle and not sickling. Press down the top of the foot. Flex your left foot, walk back on your fingers. Balloon your belly, fill your chest, and as you draw the shoulders back and down and gaze upwards towards the sky, feel that upward thrust as you push through into your fingers, that rebound energy lifting you away from the ground. Whilst as you breathe out, you feel that grounding force connecting you to the earth. Try not to collapse into the hips, but just breathe into them with awareness. When you're ready, and again, taking your cue from you, begin to prepare yourself to walk your hands forwards and come into your supine sleeping pigeon. You might pause partway just to make sure your knees not stuck underneath your body, that you're feeling comfortable there in the hips and there's certainly no discomfort or pain. You might go further down and bring your hands in a stack to rest your brow upon. You might outstretch your arms and set the opposite side of your face to rest on the ground as you hug the earth and feel yourself being pulled down. Keep breathing into the hips and focusing on those feelings and sensations there in this moment in time. As you quietly rest with yourself in pigeon pose, as you reap the therapeutic benefits of being in this shape, hunker down to the ground, focusing on releasing tension from the hips, flutter from the brain. Once again, just listen to your breath, listen to your own inner teacher, your own inner voice, and when you're ready, bring your hands back beneath your shoulders, your armpits. Slowly tuck the chin into the cradle of your collarbones and curl your way back up through the spine, revisiting your king pigeon pose one more time. Lifting your breastbone, lifting your gaze without throwing your head back. Very slowly from here, drop onto your left sitting bone. Slide your right foot over to the right and bring your left foot to the outside edge of your right thigh. So you're coming into preparation for your Lord of the Fishes, your seated twist. Gather up the right knee with your left arm and then just windmill sail your right hand all the way behind you. Hugging the thigh against the belly and the chest and depositing your hand on the floor, turn your fingertips over towards the left of your mat. Twisting towards the right thigh, just take your time, and as you twist again, feel yourself rising up tall through the entire length of your spine. Both sitting bones heavily grounded. Feel the breath moving in and out of the body, the belly rising and falling against the thigh. And slowly, quietly, inquiringly begin to glance over your shoulder and into the corners of both eyes. When you're ready, just slowly, gently unwind. Step the right foot over to the inside seam of the shin and take the hands around the foot like a stirrup. Begin to straighten your leg and come right onto the top of your sitting bones. And as you pull against your right foot with your palms and push against your palms with your right foot and climb your heart like a monkey scampering up a tree towards your toes, keep breathing steadily, shoulders relaxed, facial muscles and jaw. Now take the right peace fingers and hook them around your right big toe. Begin to take the right leg out to the side. So holding onto the foot if you can, then take your left arm out to the left and look over towards the left thumb. Follow the left thumb with your gaze and really open up the chamber of your chest. Stay right on the top of your sitting bones as you bring your right leg back again and hold on to your foot once more with both hands. Again, try not to collapse into the lower back or let your shoulders invade your ears. Releasing from there, just pop your right foot back on the ground. And as you do, just can the legs and bring your left foot to the outside edge of your right thigh, preparing your seated twist second side. A big windmill sail of your left hand, opening up the shoulder as you twist towards the left thigh. Reach up high with the right arm or wrap your arm around your shin and just find yourself just moving in preparation into your seated twist with awareness of what's going on inside. You're hugging the thigh to the belly rather than elbow on the side of the knee. Just try to maintain that feeling of pressure against the belly from the thigh, massaging your internal organs. Firmly press down through the left foot, particularly the big toe mound into the ground. Be aware of that upward rising energy as you breathe in and that inner strength that emanates from deep within the belly as you breathe out. From your Lord of the Fishes twist, slowly unwind and step the foot in front of your shin, bringing your hands like a stirrup around the foot, and slowly, keeping the knee bent to begin to straighten the leg and staying on the top of your sitting bones, peering upwards towards your toes. Just take a few deep breaths, stretching out the hamstring, trying to fold closer your front body towards your shin without headbutting the shin, without compromising the integrity of your spine. And again, the shoulders are melting. Your facial muscles are relaxed. Now scoop up with the two peace fingers if you can, your left big toe. And then just opening up your hips and the windows to your hearts. Just take your right arm out to the side, parallel to the floor. Turn your face towards the ridge of your thumb. Try to maintain that upward lift through your spine. Find your balance. Breathe steadily. Feel that stretch across your collarbones and shoulder blades. Returning your leg back to where it began and just scooping up your foot again with both hands. Once again, just try to lengthen your front body and scamper your heart up towards your toes. Abandoning that shape mindfully, just bring your right heel, left foot back in front of you on the mat, hip width. And once you're sitting there with both feet out in front of you, hip width, just place your hands behind you with your fingertips pointing towards your hips. Squeeze your elbows together if you want less, and I'm still struggling with my injury, but if you feel that you want to go into a tabletop rather than just staying like me with your seat on the floor, then just lift yourself up into a tabletop, lifting your seat, lengthening your tail between your thighs, lifting your heart, navel, hips towards the sky, bringing strength, weight-bearing heat once again into the body, breathing smoothly, steadily, effortlessly through the nose. Listen to your own inner voice again, reminding you that it's your practice, not mine, so you know when your body's had enough. And when you're done, just lower your seat, pick up your feet, and take a little supported boat pose. With your supported boat pose, squeeze your knees together, stabilize right there on the top of your sitting bones before either straightening your legs and spreading the toes, and releasing your hands from either variation of boat pose and stretching out your arms, fanning out your fingers, lifting your heart. Keep hugging together your thighs and then just take a little peek behind you before bending the knees. And if you've got space, you don't need to shuffle your bum forwards a bit. Start to gently, with your chin tucked in, massage your back body, rolling a few times like a little rocking, rolling ball over your spine. And find yourself just returning to a semi-supine shape with feet hip width apart again, knees above heels, slightly pigeon-toed. Arch your back and set your shoulder blades closer to your hips. Lift your pelvis and lengthen between your heels, the tip of your tail. With your palms facing down, reach with the middle fingers of both hands for your outer ankle bones. Take a deep breath in, bloat the belly, fill the chest, and as you exhale, lift the tail, slowly wheel up through the spine into your bridge pose. Knees tracking your middle toes, try to symmetrically lift the hips, engage the buttocks. If you want more, interlace your fingers and shuffle your elbows, upper arms together underneath your back body. More than that, lift your heels off the floor and keeping your elbows tucked in, bring the palms of your hands to support your pelvis with fingertips pointing to your tailbone. Reset the heels and maintain those pigeon toes as you continue to support yourself in whatever variation of bridge pose you've chosen by breathing long, deep breaths. Smooth, steady breaths with a seamless transition between a breath in and a breath out. Try to maintain that uplift, that height, and keep working to really focus on opening up the front body, stretching out the hip flexors and the thighs. From your supported bridge pose, whichever variation you've chosen, if you've lifted your hands to support your back, lift your heels to release them. If you've got your fingers intertwined, then just take your arms now like two tram tracks either side of your waist. Count down the vertebrae as you recline, one bone at a time. Arriving semi-supine once again, externally rotate the arms, palms facing the sky. Create a little bit more space between your side ribs and your waist. And as you breathe into that shape, just roll over onto the little toe side of your right foot, big toe side of your left. In other words, just creating a gentle twist. Take knees now to the left and turn your face to the right. And just continue to maneuver the legs and the head from side to side 1 or 2 more times. Just gently unwinding, releasing the spine. From here, having taken the knees and the face evenly in both directions, pause back at the midline. Take a moment or two just to rest there, to acknowledge the way in which you're grounding your weight, the way in which you've assembled the body shape, the quality of your breathing. And then ask yourself whether there's anything that you need to keep you from losing heat as we prepare to come into Shavasana. Either padding out the back of your head or the back of your knees as a way of supporting your body, making yourself more comfortable, and adding any layers that you need mindfully. And then when you're ready, just slowly slide your feet to the 2 front corners of your mat to lie flat. Close your eyes. And focus your gaze, your internal gaze, on the screen in front of your closed eyes. See if you can bring to mind your simple affirmation, your New Year resolution, if you like, your positive intention that I asked you to form at the beginning of your practice. And if you didn't manage to come up with one of those, maybe just use one of these. I am here. I am calm. I am healthy. I am happy. I am at ease. Forming like a mantra, the words in your brain time and time again in simple language and set in the present tense, as if they're already manifesting, already happening right now at this moment in time. That positive intention be sown like seeds in the fertile soil of your relaxed brain. Breathe into your body time and time again. Breathe your intention into every cell, every pore, every fibre, every nook and cranny.